On January 12, 2016, Piper Lowy, an otherwise healthy 12-year-old girl, collapsed and died in the parking lot of a children's hospital just 4 days after coming down with a common illness. Each year, on average, 20,000 children are hospitalized by this illness, and in 2009, 358 children died from the same disease. Wouldn't it be great if there was a way to stop all of this madness and protect our children? The illness I'm referring to is none other than influenza, or as it's better known as, the flu. According to the CDC, millions of people are hospitalized from the flu each year. Of those millions of people, hundreds of thousands of them die. The populations that are most at risk are children under 5 years old, the elderly, pregnant women, and people with pre-existing health conditions or problems. According to the World Health Organization, the CDC, and the most respected physicians and nurses organizations, the most reliable and affordable way to avoid becoming ill and spreading the flu is by receiving a yearly flu vaccination. Now that you know how big a deal the flu can be, let me tell you some reasons people have for not getting the flu shot. According to Dr. Vengali, an infectious disease specialist, one of the top reasons people give for not getting the flu shot is that it's not a big deal. They can handle a little cold. Well, let me tell you, in 2009, when I was 12, I was the first person in my family to come down with the flu. It felt like being hit by a train over and over and over again. I could hardly move, I could barely watch TV, I couldn't eat, and I became very weak. In the days that followed, everyone in my family, except for my mom, came down with the flu. My dad was so sick he ended up with near pneumonia and missed 3 weeks of work. It's not like a cold. Another reason she hears is that flu vaccines give you the flu. The reaction many people get from getting the flu vaccine is called an immune response. It's totally normal and perfectly healthy. In fact, it means that your body has recognized the dead flu virus and is creating antibodies against it so that when a person does come in contact with flu-like germs, they won't contract the disease because your body already has the tools to fight it off. And the last reason people give for not getting the flu shot is that they're not in one of the high-risk groups, so it doesn't really affect them. While it's true that being in a lower risk group puts you at lower risk from getting the flu, you could still be endangering people that are in the higher risk groups. You can be symptomatic for several days before, you can be contagious for several days before you become symptomatic, and for several days after. And in those days, you can be spreading the flu disease to several people without even knowing it. Now that I've debunked some of the reasons for people not getting the flu vaccine, let's see how we can make sure that everyone knows how important it is to get one. People need to be educated about the dangers of influenza and the safety and efficacy of the influenza vaccines. People also need to understand that the flu vaccine needs to be re-administered each year because the flu adapts each year. So the vaccine you get this year won't be reliable or effective on the strains that will be active next year. If everyone took the time to adequately educate themselves and others about influenza and the flu vaccine, maybe we could decrease the statistics I talked about earlier. And maybe children like Piper wouldn't have to die of something so easily preventable. Now that you know how important it is, many of you might be wondering where you can get a vaccine. Flu vaccines are available at many places, like colleges, schools, some workplaces, etc. A lot of places will even offer them for free. And now that you know the dangers of not getting the flu vaccine, what's your excuse? Go do your part in keeping people safe and get your flu shot. Babies, mothers, grandparents, and people of all ages whose lives will be drastically changed by influenza will thank you.
I do have a question though.